Hi, this is Leland Chi, creative executive at Lucasfilm, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
Sir, the temperature's dropping too rapidly.
That's right, my friend's out in it.
I'll cover Section 12.
Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker.
Then I'll see you in hell. Hang on, kid.
Dagobah system. Dagobah.
This may smell bad, kid. But it'll keep you warm.
Oh, they've encased him in carbonite. He should be quite well protected. If he survived the freezing process, that is.
Oh, really? You're cold?
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Well, hello, friends, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi, your family-friendly, spoiler-free Star Wars podcast, where intelligent conversation and a splash of humor bring fans together from across the galaxy. I'm your host, Dan Zare, educator and Star Wars author. Whether you're a lifelong Jedi Master or just hopped off your first Star Cruiser, grab your calf and join us as we explore the mythology, philosophy, and wonder of a galaxy far, far away. One conversation at a time. Coffee with Kenobi is more than a podcast. It's a community. Together we celebrate the people, stories, and experiences that make Star Wars so special, creating a space where fans can come together and share their voices. A huge thank you to the official travel partner of Coffee with Kenobi, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Check out coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel for a no-cost, no-obligation quote, and let them know Coffee with Kenobi and Dan Zare sent you. So you may have noticed the cold theme at the opening of the show. It has been cold here where I am in central Illinois. I know it's cold for many of you across the galaxy, so I hope this podcast will bring you some warmth, some cheer, and some fun. I have missed being on the show weekly, but it sure is nice to be back, dusting off that mic, getting myself out of carbonite, and ready to talk some Star Wars. So on today's show, we have a really cool thing. I did a live event, the S.T.E.A.M Into the Storyverse event we do every single year. I've got a number of guest stars and co-hosts that you will absolutely recognize. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite mug, and let's have Coffee with Kenobi. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Kenobi. I am your host, Dan Zare. Very excited to talk Star Wars with each and every one of you. It is great to be back here at S.T.E.A.M Into Star Wars. First, it was Star Wars Reads Day. Then it was S.T.E.A.M Into Star Wars. Now it's S.T.E.A.M Into Storyverse. And I'm excited to be here live with all of you. I've got two very special guest co-hosts with me. First, from the Hyperion Hub, John Alois.
Hey, thanks for having me on again. This is great.
A little known fact, if not for John Alois, this show would not have existed because I did not hit the record button. How about that? This is new equipment, so that's what I'm going to default on. Also joining me, he is the host of the Rival Base Card podcast, Greg McLaughlin. Greg, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I do see that the red shiny button, there's a lot of shiny buttons on that thing.
Yes.
But I am glad not only to be here, but to have that shiny button going and to spend a little time with both of you.
We are using a Rodecaster Pro 2. I have never used one of these things. It is gorgeous, isn't it?
It's wonderful. It's very bright colored. It looks like anybody can use it, although you do need a little training, as we figured it out.
There is a learning curve. Even for people with experience, there's definitely a learning curve here. So what we like to do on the live shows especially, we want to make them interactive. We also have a topic, and it's pick one. My question for each of you is going to be, you have the option of just one Jedi, just one starfighter, just one droid, and just one bad guy. It could be a Sith Lord, it could be somebody in the Empire, it could be a bounty hunter. It doesn't really matter who it is. You've got to pick one of each one. Those are the only ones you can take with you into your Star Wars story. Okay, we're all about stories. So keep that in the back of your mind. But before we get to that,
so that's a little bit different from our favorites.
That's very different from your favorites.
All right.
Or it can be your favorites. It all depends on how you want to tell this story.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm probably going to go with my favorites, to be honest. But you never know. You got to see what makes the best story itself. And speaking of stories, on the Hyperion Hub, You enjoy the stories that the Walt Disney Company has told us for generations. As you look back on it, of course, do you have, like for me, when Disney purchased Lucasfilm and it was announced, it was like my Kennedy moment. Like I remember where I was.
I do too.
I
Yep.
remember what I was wearing, everything about it. What was it like when you first found out?
So that was pre-Hyperion Hub, pre-podcasting. I was all in.
I like to think of those are the dark times.
I was all in on Disney at that point. Grew up a big Disney fan in general. My parents were Disney fans. But by that point, my wife and I, and at that, we had already had a family. We were Disney Vacation Club members, so fully invested in the Disney company. I was excited for two reasons. One, Star Wars was going to become relevant again. And no offense, I'm sure it was never out of the realm. And
it was. Then I think that, I'll talk about that too.
But also, what did this mean for the parks? What did this mean for the visual media on the backside moving forward? Because at the same time, they also announced that they were going to relaunch the Skywalker saga.
That's right.
And
Episodes
continue
7,
the
8,
series.
and 9 were announced.
So that I was more excited about the fact that we had more movies coming, but I thought if anyone can steward the ship, it's going to be Disney because of their vast amounts of storytelling, their resources that they could put into it, and the combination of Lucas and Disney was a home run for me from the start.
Absolutely. I love so much about that. And that's you and I were like best friends the moment we met because of all these common interests and for those very much things too. And Greg, I actually don't know if I know your story of what happened. What did you think? Where were you when you first learned that Disney purchased Lucasfilm? Now, this isn't exactly new news, but I think it's worth revisiting because it's a big reason for why we're here today. There was no Steam into Star Wars before Star Wars Reads Day, which was a Lucasfilm initiative that was largely spearheaded by Disney anyway.
I have to say it was certainly during kind of a lull because I do remember I was blogging technology when Disney bought Marvel, and I remember I was interviewing at Apple, and we got to talking with our store leader about that post because I remember talking about that. But it seemed at the time to be sort of a natural stewardship because we've had Star Wars around. We've been lucky to have it around all our lives. And you have to think at some point you want the story to continue. You want these characters to go on. And you felt like, well, Disney at that time was picking up a lot of these properties. And they're probably in the best position to monetarily take it out, as
right.
We've seen, especially in the consolidation lately. So I would say, you felt like if anyone's going to be able to pull this off and do it at scale, Disney was the company to do it.
Can I just say one thing on top of that? The difference between Disney purchasing Lucasfilm and Disney purchasing Marvel was severed in so many different ways. Still to this day, the theme park rights east of the Mississippi, a lot of those characters are reserved for Universal. Different studios owned Marvel properties, and to this day, Sony still owns the Spider-Man universe. They've partnered with Disney along the way, but Star Wars was everything. I mean, it was wide open at that point, so they could do whatever they want with the property.
Right. George didn't sell off different things like Stan Lee did. He sold off the rights to like Fantastic Four, X-Men, Spider-Man, things like that, because Marvel was in a bit of a lull. Lucasfilm wasn't in a lull. There just wasn't anything going on. So that's why I totally didn't take offense. I agree with you. When during that time, Lucasfilm wasn't doing anything. They were doing parodies. They were doing Family Guy and Robot Chicken, and there were some great action figures with the Power of the Force, which started around 1995. You had the Timothy Zahn, Admiral Thrawn trilogy. Amazing stuff. Got people very excited about Star Wars again because there were different lulls in the creative juices happening, original story content happening. And then I was in our kitchen before we were married. I believe we were engaged. And I think Corey texted me and said, Disney bought Lucasfilm and they're making episodes 7, 8, and 9. And I have goosebumps now because I lost my mind. For about 48 hours, I couldn't think of anything else.
I was at work, and I remember the same thing.
It blew my mind, and actually during that time I was coming here really, really early in the mornings to work out before anybody got here, and I put on Rebel Force Radio, and they were interviewing Steve Sansweet when he was driving to Lucasfilm in his car, and he was talking with them before he went to this big meeting, and they were talking about the fact we're getting 3 new Star Wars movies in the Skywalker saga. You have to understand, in 2005, never thought that was a possibility. It seemed absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible to happen. And I was at peace with it. And then this happened, as you both alluded to. I thought there was no better steward, which is a great word, of the franchise because of the financial resources, because of the prime focus that is storytelling. Storytelling, and if you heard CWK Prover that I did at S.T.E.A.M in the Storyverse, story has to be the driving focus. Special effects, music, amazing sets, clever dialogue, that's all great. But if it's not spearheaded by a story, it doesn't mean anything. And the stories of Star Wars typically have been among the very, very best from my mind's eye. From my mind's eye. Right. So that is a fabulous thing, and I'm very grateful for that because of where we are today because of it. And Star Wars brought me to both of you. You know?
I do want to. I want to make it clear. I'm a huge Disney nerd, but I'm not naive. I'm not in love with every single Star Wars thing that they've put out.
Nor am I.
Yeah, and we probably shouldn't be.
I don't think so. I don't. No. I think that would be intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad. No, I could definitely go on about things that do not land very well for me, but we won't do that here. We won't do that here. What we are going to talk about is you've got your pick yours. So, Greg, are you comfortable starting first?
I'm fine.
Okay, you have been assigned. This is your story that you're telling. Pick, and it can be your favorite, like John said. But what's the one Jedi you're bringing with you on this mission?
Oh, I would have to say I would fall back to Kanan Jarrus from Star Wars Rebels. I fell in love with the character, from the first time I saw him. But I do like the fact of seeing that Padawan who survived Order 66 and had to kind of find his own way. I liked A New Dawn. I liked the stories that he's in. I like the comics that he's in. I just like the character, and I do think that the fact that he was able to pack a blaster and a lightsaber and could help pilot a ship told me that he's going to be very useful in my story because he's going to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Boy, oh boy. Kanan is one of my favorite characters in the history of fiction, and I didn't even think of him as an option. Wow. But I'm the host, so I'm going to go last. John, what's yours?
I'm going to be boring on all of these answers, but I'm going to go with Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the reason why is I think I'm going to I don't think you can go wrong with many Jedi, obviously, but I'm going to go with the intellect. I'm going to go with he shouldn't show emotion, but he does show heart. I trust him in every decision that he makes. It's based on for the good of the cause, for the strategy. He doesn't agree with the Jedi ways sometimes. Didn't he have or almost had a girlfriend, Duchess Satine?
Duchess Satine.
Satine,
of
thank
Mandalore,
you.
yes.
Yes. And that makes things difficult for him. That makes things more interesting as far as a character goes for me. But I trust him fully in every decision that he would make, honestly, and that's why I would go with him.
First of all, you've never been boring. So, honestly, and I think those are both excellent choices. I went to about 3 or 4, and it's important to point out that, yes, it's not necessarily a favorite, although they're all going to be our favorites because we'll do them for different reasons. But for me, for my story, I'm going to go with the Grandmaster Yoda.
Oh, all right.
Yoda is the wisest Jedi. He's the most experienced Jedi. Those things cannot be underestimated because that allows you as a storyteller to dive into wisdom. How is wisdom? Yoda doesn't give wisdom. He gives encouragement. He gives advice, but he allows people to make mistakes, which to me is the defining characteristic of an educator besides forming a relationship with the student or a Padawan or a Jedi, as the case may be. If Yoda needs to use his lightsaber, there's nobody finer with a lightsaber. And he also adds an element of levity. He can add humor. And on some missions, that's going to be really, really important. So I love both of those. I also could have went with Ahsoka, but I'm going to take Grandmaster Yoda.
Yoda's also a great philosopher. He's a great psychiatrist, a wonderful teacher.
Exactly.
He gets you to think and find the answers your way.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times, maybe there is a right or wrong, but maybe there's a better right.
Right.
Or a worse wrong.
Right.
And he makes a mean soup. So, like one of the few characters in the Star Wars universe that actually
So do you know the
makes
name
a
of
meal.
the food that he made? Do you know the name? I know the name.
No, I was going to say, I'm
Do you
talking
know
to
the
the
name?
encyclopedia guy.
It's root leaf.
Oh, okay.
Root leaf. Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Chalk that up there for more useless information to
I just
to
remember
come your way.
Luke's look on his face when he tries it.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna go with let's do the droid. What astromech or droid? I guess you could bring like Dio or something like that. But what droid would you bring with you on the story? You've got Kanan Jarrus. Who's going with Kanan?
A part of me before our friend Aaron Harris would want to bring Chopper along, but I don't want to go like full Rebels. But I would say I'd say K2SO. I like because of the strength and also a little bit of the snark. I kind of like it, but K2 and of course Ross can't say nothing bad about K2 because he's got one on his arm. But I just think that K2 is good with a blaster, good with getting us to where we need to go, and telling you the odds all along the way.
Fabulous, John.
I'm cheating.
You brought Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is it Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan Kenobi or is it Alec Guinness Obi-Wan Kenobi?
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, so we don't have a time.
It's
so
the character.
But how old he is important to what your story is. See how we try to get
okay.
out of that, Sean? He
Okay.
tried to get out of it, but I'm not letting him.
Then probably
You're going Ewan.
I would probably go Ewan.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
But which Ewan?
You in trouble if you don't know.
I would say prequels.
Prequels? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice. My son rolled his eyes when I said that. Thank you. All right. So what droid would you bring with you with Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Again, I'm cheating. I'm going to be boring.
You're not boring.
I think the hands down answer. I liked yours. Yours is great. Yours has strength. Yours has a lot more power. And I cheated. I looked on StarWars.com. I don't understand this list at all because they have.
I could probably translate for you.
They have C-3PO number 1. No
Shame
offense.
you didn't have a Star Wars
They have
encyclopedia to
R5D4 number 3. I'm going to go with R2D2. I think he's the most entertaining. I think he provides the most surprise elements at the last possible moment. He's the hero. He holds secrets well, as we know.
Yes, he does.
And
So he'd be great for Christmas time.
yeah, we didn't know he could fly till we went back in the past.
Yeah, that's when the gear was fresh.
So that's my choice.
And he's the ultimate Swiss Army knife.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
You want to get into a door, you need the Wi-Fi, he's got you. My droid. So I brought Yoda for the reasons I said. But if this is a story that I'm telling, I need some personality that might complement Yoda, that also might be good at butting heads, or may also be like a really fun companion to Master Yoda. So I am going with Chopper from Star Wars Rebels.
All right.
Can you imagine the snark of Chopper with the wisdom and levity of Yoda, plus the fact that you can count on them both in a battle? And Chopper's really good when the starfighter's not working so well, so Yoda can concentrate on other things. I almost went with CB-23 from Star Wars Resistance.
Really?
I absolutely love that BB unit a lot. It's definitely a deep cut. There are a lot of droids. R2-D2 you cannot go wrong with. I love R2-D2. But I'm going to go with Chopper. Chopper's my man.
I like your combination of Yoda and Chopper. Do we know much about Yoda during this time period? Because by the time we get to Empire, he's cantankerous. He's a curmudgeon a little bit. He's been alone for a long time.
Well, there's some things. There's not a lot known during those dark times, but I would contribute it more with you went exiled for 19 years and you think everything you love is dead. It's going to make you a little cranky.
I'm not blaming him.
How dare
I just
you,
think
sir.
I think the relationship between those two would be very
Wouldn't
interesting
it be fun
to explore.
Because
yeah.
if I asked you about which Obi-Wan, Ewan or Alec Guinness, that's a good point. Is
Yeah.
it Yoda from the Clone Wars and the prequels, or is it Yoda from the time of the Galactic Civil War? That could make it very. I'm going to go with probably a Clone Wars era Yoda.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I'm glad. See, this is good. This is why you're a star podcaster. All right, now we're going to do the villain, but we're going to save the villain for last because that's our big antagonist. So you've got to fly. You've got Kanan Jarrus. You've got K2SO, but you need a ship. What ship are you going to take?
Okay, I'm gonna pull this one because I get to choose first, and I have to kind of go with the Millennium Falcon, only because it just time after time it proves it can get you there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the best shape. And although we know it's not itself a character,
In many ways, it's like us.
yes, yeah, really. It's like we'll kind of get you there. We're a little scruffy here and there, but we'll get you there. But no, I like how it's. You see it from like Solo, where you see it more brand new, to The Force Awakens, where they call it, junk will do. It's just nice to see, and that it doesn't necessarily always have to be the same pilot. Lando's had it for a while. Han had it for a while. Rey can pilot the Falcon, so it's a Swiss Army knife as far as like just
Yes.
that freighter from Corellia.
I love that. The YT-1300 Light Starfighter. That's the brand. All right, so you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. You've got R2-D2. You take any starship, even if it's already off the lot from Greg McLaughlin. What starship would you choose?
Well, I'm going to try to go in a different route. I would take the Millennium Falcon probably, right? But I would say Luke's X-Wing.
Ooh.
Now to jump into
Everyone's going to sit on each other's lap?
Oh, I'm with them?
Well, no, it's a story, so they're taking...
Well, don't they have a back-to-back version? Or maybe I'll just say an X-Wing,
No,
a general.
you're thinking of the Snowspeeder.
Okay. Yes, you're right. Yeah, on the lap, I guess. So I'm
Sorry,
going
I will try to turn off the technical side of my brain. That's right.
Well, I don't have the technical know-how, but we are jumping into the engineering portion of S.T.E.A.M. So I am not a ship wizard. I don't know the ins and outs of all the Star Wars ships. It's fast. It almost becomes part of the pilot. It's with them for their entire duration, essentially.
And we can make an extra cab. If Galaxy's Edge can add a third row to the Millennium Falcon, you can certainly add extra seating and then X-Wing.
Okay, then I'm going to go with the X-Wing.
Yeah, we'll have Hondo Shipyard work on that. It's a good choice. It's a good choice. I'm taking the Falcon. It's not even a question. Even if everybody said I'm definitely taking the Millennium Falcon, it's I put it up there with the Batmobile as the greatest vehicles in popular culture history.
Ooh, that's a good topic.
Yeah, that is a good topic. It's faster than you could expect. It's iconic. Yoda would be familiar with it. Chopper would have a ball on it, and you can tell a lot of stories. Mine is always about stories. You can tell a lot of great stories inside the Millennium Falcon, whether that's adventures in the cockpit or whether it's just in the galley area as well. I think a lot of fun things. And who knows what you might find if I was telling the story that Lando or Han had left behind on the Falcon that could open gateways to other ideas too. This is my pitch to Lucasfilm. All right, last one. You've got Kanan Jarrus. You've got K2SO. You're piloting the Millennium Falcon with the two of them. But there's a villain out there. It can be any villain from Star Wars. It does not have to be Force related. It can be anything you want. Who is your villain?
Just because it kind of came up recently in the podcast, we were talking about 2026, and I would go with Darth Maul. As we were saying, Maul is kind of the gift that keeps on giving, because there's, we saw his, supposed untimely death in the Phantom Menace. But they brought him back in the Clone Wars, and then all of a sudden, I think everyone kind of realized, like, oh man, I love stories, concerning Darth Maul. His sort of rise, his fall, his time with the Shadow Collective, and all that. And I just think there's just anytime you put him there, he is kind of a wild card, but he's consistent. And he's true to himself, and even if it's a bit flawed as far as like his revenge against Obi-Wan Kenobi, because we could link stories with me and John. But I just think he's a fascinating character, and of course, you can't say enough about the voice Sam Witwer.
Yes. Okay. So it's Clone Wars era, or Rebels era, probably.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit. And that's an excellent choice. He would be a great villain. Looking forward to that animated series here later this year. Okay.
So are we on a mission? What's the story? Are we all working together?
Sure. Story,
I
John.
think I envision my story as a mission of some kind. So
Okay.
you've got the X-wing, a modified X-wing,
Wait, say that again. We are all on
on a mission.
Okay.
So you've got your modified X-wing.
Yeah.
You're with R2D2 in the astromech socket, and you've got Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who's the villain?
So I grew up in the 1980s, and I loved He-Man at the time. And He-Man and Skeletor once in a while would have to get together for a common goal.
Yes.
To fight
The
Hordak
Christmas
or something.
episode.
Yes, exactly. I loved those episodes.
Me too.
When you can join forces with a villain for a common good and find strengths in each other, I think that's, I don't know if it's wonderful storytelling. It appeals to me. I'm going to go with, again, intellect, Count Dooku.
Oh, I love that.
Plus, I looked at like Jango Fett or something. I just don't trust him ever. But Count Dooku, I feel like he might have been duped. He was naive, but he was very smart to a point, right? That's who I'm going with.
All right, I would not trust Count Dooku for
Okay.
anything. But there's
To finish
a
the mission.
great Clone Wars where he teams up with Obi-Wan and Anakin briefly to escape Hondo Ohnaka when he's a pirate. And it's a great story.
Oh.
It's a great story. And so when you said that, that was the first thing that came to my mind. And I think Count Dooku is one of the great characters in Star Wars history.
Well, let's hear yours. I have a feeling.
Do you? What do you think?
I mean, if Count Dooku was off the board, I'd take Darth Vader.
Okay, so yeah, I've got Yoda. I've got Chopper. We're in the Millennium Falcon. So I've got two directions I can go with this. I can go epic. I can go really sinister. And I might just, to throw a wrinkle in things, say Kylo Ren.
Whoa.
That doesn't work out chronologically, but it's just a story for fun. You know what I mean? So Kylo Ren against Yoda could be some fascinating dialogue because of Kylo Ren's angst and his struggles with this imposter syndrome that he has because of who his parents are, because of his guilt and his frustration with what happens with his dad and with his uncle. I mean, and then Yoda could really bring that out in him. You could make some really intelligent, difficult dialogue. But for my story, because I've got humor with Yoda and Chopper, I'm going to have Hondo Ohnaka as the villain.
All right.
You want
all
to talk
right.
about a fun pirate? That's Hondo Ohnaka is your guy. Can you imagine the discourse between Yoda and Hondo would eventually somehow turn against them, but Yoda would anticipate it. Chopper and Hondo, I think, would butt heads. What if Hondo tried to swipe Chopper? And of course, there's a history with Hondo and the Millennium Falcon. I think that would be a really fun story.
I like it. And Hondo's another one that's kind of like true to his character. I mean, he has shown signs where he was like a little more like, on the good side is whatnot, but it's like always about profit. And I just like, I like every iteration that I've seen of him.
Hondo's great. Hondo's great fun. So we have a few minutes left. I've got a few guests here. I'd love to hear if you'd like to come up to the show. Tell me what character you'd pick for. Now, we got about 5 minutes because I'm actually leaving to go to the Chicago Bears game. So, you're going to pick your favorite Jedi for this story, the astromech you're going to select, the starship you're going to fly in, and the villain you're going to fight against. Who wants to come up? Come on, Mason. Let's hear from Mason Zaire. Tradition. Hey, Mason, welcome back to the show.
Hey, it's great to be back on.
All right. Well, it's okay, buddy. Tell me, who would you pick for your Jedi for your story that you're telling?
For the Jedi, not just because it's a favorite, even though I do like him, but also for everything that could go in the story, probably Anakin, because he has his good moments and his bad moments.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So you're thinking like Clone Wars era Anakin.
Yes.
I like that. So he needs an astromech, right, to help him pilot his ship. Although Anakin would probably try to do it by himself. Who would the astromech be with Anakin?
Just because how fun they are, and Anakin he sometimes cracks jokes, and I think they'd have fun together. I'd say Dio.
Dio. Oh, he loves Dio. Okay. So Dio and Anakin, that is a very unlikely pair. I love that so much. What starship are the two of them going to fly in?
Probably Mando's Razor Crest.
Oh, the Mando's Razor Crest. I didn't thought about that.
Might be making a comeback.
So tell me why.
Well, also, like you guys said, the Falcon, and that's a big ship that can go fast, and also the Razor Crest isn't small like an X-Wing.
Right.
But it's like big, and so you have room to move around. You can just basically do whatever you want.
I love that, Mason. So finally, who would be the villain in this story that features Anakin Skywalker, Dio, and the Razor Crest?
Well, first, like when you say villain, you're like, oh, what's your favorite Sith that you're going to put in this? But like, that kind of makes me want to not do a Sith, someone that doesn't have Force powers. So I'm going to go with Jango Fett.
Who is your favorite? What do you think Jango would bring to the story?
Probably like I said, no Force, and he also has the jetpack, so he can kind of fly. And I think him and Anakin would be fun together. That would be a cool fight. Well, hey, thank you so much, Mason. Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're going to have Ross Halloman up here. Ross, you're telling a story, buddy.
Hello, friends.
He's been writing the whole time.
You're telling a story. You're going to have a Jedi. You're going to have an astromech or some sort of a droid. You're going to need a starship to get from point A to point B during your story, and you need a villain. So who do you have?
So I cheated because as you guys were going through this whole thing, I was jotting notes. I have a hangout crew, and I have a crew for accomplishing missions.
All right.
So
it depends on the story you want to tell. What story are we telling?
So for hanging out, for the Jedi, it's Quinlan Voss.
Okay. Edgy. I like it.
You don't know what you're going to get from him sometimes. You know who he is, but he's a little all over the place.
Right.
Accomplishing a mission, we're going Qui-Gon.
Okay.
Leadership style, and he's not stunted by the rules. He's open to interpreting things to get something accomplished, and I appreciate that. Droid, hanging out, K2SO.
Yeah.
That he hangs out with me all the time.
Yeah.
So, accomplishing a mission, R2D2 has to be.
Okay.
Ship, hanging out, the Ghost.
Oh, the
okay.
Ghost.
Yeah. That's a good fighter.
But as you saw with my license plate yesterday, for accomplishing missions, it's Luthen Rails Fondor. So it needs, that thing is just...
His license plate literally says Fondor.
So that is, that one had to get in there. And for villain, hanging out, I'm considering a villain here, but it's DJ. So
Oh, really? He drives me crazy.
Benicio del Toro,
Yeah.
I think he'd be very interesting to hang out
I'd love
with.
to see more of that. Yeah.
And then from accomplishing a mission, it's Thrawn. So who is my favorite villain in Star Wars?
Oh, here you go.
And I still keep waiting because I think in some ways he is altruistic, and he could flip at some point.
We're going to have to debate the word altruistic if you think Thrawn's altruistic. I love that. Okay, well, hey, thank you so much, Ross.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is...
Look, thank you so much, everybody. We unfortunately have to wrap up the show. I've got a shuttle to take. I'm going to take my Millennium Falcon to Soldier Field in Chicago. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Tom for all the years of STEAM into the Storyverse. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate each of you. You can certainly find Coffee with Kenobi. Whenever you listen to your podcast, you can go to the website, coffeewithkenobi.com, social media, all that good stuff. Again, thank you so much on behalf of my hosts, John Alois, Greg McLaughlin, guest stars, Mason Zare, and Ross Halloman. Thank you so much, everybody. May the Force be with you. We will see you next time. For all things Star Wars, news, reviews, videos, and more, head to our home base, coffeewithkenobi.com. Don't forget to join the CWK Cafe on Facebook at coffeewithkenobi.com/community, our family-friendly, spoiler-free group for all your Star Wars thoughts, comments, and conversation. This podcast is possible thanks to the incredible support of the CWK Alliance. Want to help keep the show brewing? For as little as $1 a month, you can join the CWK Alliance and get access to CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly audio and video podcast. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. And know this, 10% of your monthly contributions goes directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Want to connect? You can email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com, Follow me on X at Mr. Zer, M-R-Z-E-H-R, Instagram, Threads, at Dan Zer CWK, and Blue Sky. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can follow Coffee with Kenobi across social media on X, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, and Blue Sky, and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/Coffee with Kenobi. And if you want to send an email to the show, you can email us feedback at coffeewithkenobi.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find over 700 videos, including past live shows, events, and this podcast. Please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps more Star Wars fans find our little corner of the galaxy. Do you need a speaker for your next event? Visit danzmedia.com. I love to discuss mythology, leadership, storytelling, or create something tailored to your audience. And finally, grab your CWK gear at coffeewithkenobi.com/shop and show your support in style.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one